Hello, Gators. This is my final research project for CEN 3031. My name is Jose Lopez Perez, and I'm presenting to you Security and Privacy, a Biometric Future, a topic based on Chapter 7 of our Somerville textbook. To start, biometrics is proving to be very reliable and very secure as terms of cybersecurity technology, especially on how we implement it in a physical level. So that means using any trait that we can think of, like let's say our voice, our eyes, our fingers, etc. And since because of that, the world should invest more on biometrics in order to make it harder for attackers to compromise our information or even modify it without our authorization, right? It's to reduce the increasing level of cybercrime we have going on over here. So benefits to biometric security include being hard to forge because genetically wise, we're unique. There's no 100% one-to-one clone of ourselves existing, even if we implement our current cloning technology. So even replicating the most important things such as our fingers or voice can be difficult. Fast system processing. This means it's easier to access our information while also keeping it very secure. So current issues is that two-factor and the things that two-factor authentication could prove to be kind of detrimental to ease of access. So using our details, physical details, could help on that. Recognition accuracy by 50%. This just means that if we apply a multimodal model, so it's a facial and voice, this means that we can use this scheme to further authenticate that this is the correct user to access this information or to access this device. Like the iPhone having a facial recognition by itself is very secure, but let's say if they want to implement the voice, that would be even better, although more costly, our stuff right now. And this means that it can serve its own digital signature, no matter if it's only one mode or a multi-model design, it could serve its own digital signature. The most important thing is that even though these tools are costly, it is projected that physical biometric technology is expected to grow by $27.16 billion by 2026. This is important because it proves how much the world is catching on onto how our genetic details are being a far better, more effective security methods rather than implementing the current standard of either two factors and whatnot, right? So a few of these authentication methods include iris and retina recognition, our face, voice, and the voice you're hearing could be also a authentication method. Our fingerprints, other iPhones did this. They don't do that anymore. They resort to face since it has been proven that they're more effective than the fingerprint. They're much harder to steal. And lastly, this new one called the fingerprint vein recognition. They just go to your finger and look at the vein patterns. And since every single human has a unique pattern in their fingers, this means that if we can look at deeper, it could make its own private key that could be even harder to replicate. And research, according to this source over here, has proven that iris recognition is the best one, not only in terms of security, but also in ease of access, because it can detect details such as retina movements, it's in a movement, and your ID to uniqueness, etc. It contributes to a data-heavy model to identify the individual and to authenticate it. And again, tools are costly, but it's time to risk this and invest this even further because cybersecurity universally follows a federated identity system, but since hackers are catching on and discovering more exploits by the day, we become more exploitable and our data is more at risk. So again, biometric security, a perfect alternative because not only is it very secure, it also can prove its worth of being very easy to access. The human body, the most interesting part, the human body can be its own private key. Just like over here, it can be its own private key. Our face, our eyes, our fingers, our veins, anything could be a key because it's harder to replicate rather than just simply coding it up. Of course, this information has to be on a database, which is how this whole ordeal works anyway. And the best factor of this is that it involves machine learning, since it played a big factor in the evolution of biometric cybersecurity. Investing on this tool today would not only make this more accessible, but also it will reduce the cost of it, which means that in relationships with this, cyber attack can be much harder to execute if we rely on our biometrics more in the future. So this is my final presentation report for security pricing, a biometric future. All right, that should be it.